By noon tomorrow, we expect to see at least a redacted version of the search warrant the DOJ used to raid former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Some of the documents seized earlier this month were indeed labeled classified. Let's talk about it now live at 10:45 with Associated Press reporter Eric Tucker, who follows national security issues. Eric, we know that this is going to be coming out tomorrow. It is redacted. How much do we think is actually going to be in this document?
I think that's the great question that we really have to see. I can tell you, Jim, that there are broad categories of information that we already know are going to be redacted based on the judge's order. So that includes grand jury information, that includes information about individual witnesses and uncharged parties, and that includes information about the scope and direction of the investigation. Anything outside of that, though, is fair game. So I think we'll just have to see exactly how much gets laid out there.
And we know that the former president's legal team, or whoever is representing him at this point, they have requested, they want to see the whole thing. They say, put the whole thing out there. Do you pick this up as a bluff, knowing that much of this stuff likely will not be in the public domain until we get later on in this investigation?
That's certainly possible. And I think from the perspective of former President Trump and his supporters, there's a sense or a hope that perhaps the document will suggest that the FBI was overzealous or overly aggressive or didn't need to execute the search warrant. And I suspect what the document will show is weeks and weeks of back and forth between the FBI and the National Archives and Trump and his representatives about these repeated efforts to get the documents back prior to the search warrant being executed.
The judge here, Judge Reinhardt, was the one who authorized the search warrant. He is also the one who ordered this release today. First of all, is it common to have a judge rule on both of those matters? And second of all, how often, obviously not every case involves a former president, but how often are these affidavits released?
So it certainly can be common for the same judge who signs off on the warrant to be then the one who's asked to unseal it. But you're correct that this is certainly a very rare and unusual occasion. Normally, affidavits, for a very good reason, remain sealed during the course of a pending investigation. And in some cases, when the person at the end of the investigation isn't charged, are never released. When the person is charged, we sometimes then see the affidavit, or the defendant receives the affidavit. But what's likely to happen tomorrow is pretty extraordinary in the sense that it is not par for the course to see one of these documents.
And especially, too, as we get to this point in this investigation, in this probe here, we were looking at some of the images as you were talking there, just about the things that have been released, the evidence, or rather the inventory of things that were seized and items that have been released so far. I'm sure tomorrow, the second this comes out, the second this is released, the spin begins, where you have people who believe that this was justified saying this is why this has to stay under wraps. And you're probably, I would imagine, seeing Team Trump again saying, look, if you're not going to release the whole picture, we're going to proceed with this narrative that this was unjustified in the first place.
That's certainly true. I think one of the things that might be challenging for the Trump legal team is what I suspect this document is going to show is that the search warrant was not the first interaction between the FBI and the Justice Department and Donald Trump. They, I believe this document will show, had tried additional less intrusive means, such as issuing a subpoena. They made a visit to Mar-a-Lago. And so what I think you'll see from this document is that it wasn't as if the search warrant happened and that was the first time anyone had ever heard about these documents. They have been trying in more quiet ways to get them back.
No, we're going to continue to see this play out here. This is certainly just another twist and turn in this saga. Eric Tucker, thanks for staying up late with us.
Thank you.